and conspiracy-mongering. It fell hostage to the party's most fevered extremists, self-described patriots who habitually characterized their ideological opponents on the other side of the aisle as communists, traitors, and terrorists. It became anti-civility, anti-science, anti-law and order. It ostracized the few Republicans willing to upbraid the party's descent into madness. Its leaders ceased to lead. Its longtime legislators, the adults in the room, establishment regulars, favorites on the K Street fundraising circuit, meekly receded into their tornado shelters, assuring themselves that the storm would pass soon. Meanwhile, its Democratic adversaries mostly abandoned the usual victor's schadenfreude, instead regarding the Republicans with astonishment and outright fear. In short, the Republican Party lost its mind. The mass migration from Reagan's Morning in America to Trump's Make America Great Again to the former president's wild-eyed Save America is one in which the usual partisan differences gave way to an existential call to arms. Given that America has organized its entire governing system around the presumption of two healthy political parties, the GOP's growing commitment to a funhouse mirror version of reality would seem to represent a threat to the nation's democratic experiment. The period I chronicle here constitutes a moment when the "this is not normal" fretfulness accompanying the seemingly anomalous Trump era metastasized into "this is dangerous and is not going away." Evidence of this alarming development would crop up across the country and throughout the greater Republican Party, from Florida to Washington State, from GOP presidential aspirants down to local precinct chairpersons. But the tension between the party's reality-based wing and the lost-its-mind wing would most acutely reveal itself within the 211-member Republican Conference, the minority party in the U.S. House of Representatives. This narrative therefore focuses in particular on the key actors in the House GOP at a moment of reckoning for the party. It is a moment I viewed mostly at close range, beginning with the morning of January 6th, 2021. Part 1. One Day in Washington. Chapter 1. The Dentist Patriot. At 8:30 in the morning on January 6th, 2021, a tall and wispy-haired man in a gray tweed overcoat with a red necktie stood at the ellipse with his back to the Washington Monument, seemingly alone, except that he happened to be posing for a photograph that would soon be posted to his Twitter account beneath the phrase, "Morning in America." He wore a COVID face mask decorated with the American flag, pulled well below his nose. He moved with a slightly rolling gait from a hip injury and twitched a bit from an unspecified neurological disorder, but otherwise cut an indistinct figure, the kind of man who managed to draw attention only through painstaking effort. Paul Gosar was his name. He was a dentist by trade, and by disposition the kind of fellow one could easily imagine pleasantly humming ancient melodies and cracking cornball jokes while his fingers rifled through the mouth of a captive audience. Gosar was no one's idea of a history maker. But history swivels, more often than not, from rogue acts committed by rogue actors who trip